When I'm trying to impress my house guests, this crab stuffed shrimp recipe is one of my favorite go-tos. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. First things first, we're gonna get started on our crab filling, which is essentially kind of like a crab cake. For that, we need about a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon or so of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Next up, we're going in with a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. It's gonna add a little bit of a bite to offset that acidity from the Dijon mustard and the lemon juice. We're going in with just a pinch of white sugar. You could also use sweet relish if you want. I like just a pinch of white sugar, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon's worth. Then we're going in with about a 1/2 teaspoon of worst word in the world sauce. Gonna add a little umami effect to the flavor profile. After the worst word in the world sauce, we're going in with a little bit of hot sauce. Use whatever your favorite brand is. Today we got Frank's Red Hot. That's what we're going with. And then I'm going down with some Old Bay for my folks in the DMV area. You know that Old Bay is a staple when it comes to seafood. I'm also gonna hit it with my lemon bay and some AP seasoning. Break out the whisk and mix to combine. We're gonna add a little bit of fresh chopped parsley for a pop of color. This is one of my favorite things to break out, guys, when I'm trying to impress my house guests. This comes together really quickly and it looks super impressive on the dinner table. And honestly, it looks a lot harder than it is to actually make. So that's one of the beautiful things about this recipe is it comes together super quick. Other than the crab meat, it's not too expensive. But speaking about expensive, we do have some jumbo lump crab. You guys don't have to break the bank on this. You can use claw meat if you want to, or just regular lump crab, back fin. Really whatever's in the budget, guys. It's all gonna be good. All right, so at this point, you just wanna fold everything together. I don't use any egg for this recipe. We're just gonna use some plain breadcrumbs to kind of act as a binder. For my folks in the Maryland area, they would sue me or chastise me in the comments if I add too much filler to this crab cake mixture. So we're gonna keep it nice and light, nice and simple. Some plain breadcrumbs. You could also use cracker crumbs if you wanna break down some saltine or Ritz crackers. That's a great choice as well. But just wanna fold this in until it kind of holds together enough to stuff inside your shrimp. Taste as you go, adjust the flavor to your preference as always. As you can see, that parsley adds a nice little pop of color, which is gonna look nice on the plate as well. You can use this same mixture right here for stuffed salmon. Works great. One of my favorite things to pair with this is a nice, simple, spicy garlic aioli, which is a mayo-based sauce. Here we have a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. To that, we're gonna add about a tablespoon or 2 of sriracha, depending on how spicy you want this to be. We're also gonna add about a 1/4 cup of ketchup. Get you a little natural sweetness and some good color. And then a tablespoon of garlic paste. For this, I don't really like to use fresh garlic, guys. I know that I get a lot of flack for using the paste in the comments. I think y'all just have fun with that, but the garlic paste is perfect for this recipe. And then about a 1/2 tablespoon of honey. More as needed to kind of balance the sweet and spicy flavor profile. Finally, I'm gonna hit with a little all-purpose and a little Old Bay. Break out the whisk and mix to combine. Quick reminder, guys, all the specific measurements and ingredients for this recipe can be found in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. Beautiful pink color there. Just want to taste it, make sure that the flavors are balanced. Again, you can make it as spicy as you want to by adding more sriracha, and you can sweeten it up by adding more ketchup or honey. But that right there looks perfect to me. You can serve this as a dipping sauce, or you can plate it up real nicely at the bottom of the plate, which is what I'm going to do today, with a little charred lemon. All right, so these are colossal size shrimp, a little bit bigger than jumbo. These come from the store, at least this batch came already deveined, but the shell is still on. Now the shell being on is important because for presentation purposes, we wanna leave the tail piece on. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So this is basically what it's gonna look like at the end. Tail still on, the rest of the shell is removed, and it's peeled and deveined at that point. After that, we're gonna butterfly it, which is super simple. Take a nice paring knife. They've already kind of started the process during the deveining process. So you just want to take your knife, don't cut through the shrimp, just cut down the back of it enough that you can flatten it out. And then we'll lay it in the dish like so. Crab cake goes right here where my index finger is, and then the tail is gonna go right on top. So the best way to do it, in my opinion, to go ahead and leave the tail on is to kind of pinch the tail to keep it intact, and then break the shell around the tail on both sides while kind of squeezing the tail piece. The rest of the shell is gonna come right off, super easy for you, just like so. And you got a good presentation. So to keep the seasoning super simple on the shrimp, I'm using my lemon bay. You could also use Old Bay, any Cajun or Creole seasoning, or something as simple as a salt and pepper blend, maybe an all-purpose, whatever you like, guys, on your shrimp. But for me, lemon bay does the trick. If you haven't tried that yet, you can get yours via the link in the description box. Nice light coating of that. And then we're gonna go ahead and grease our casserole dish, get our shrimp in there with our crab mixture, and pop that in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until the shrimp hits 145 degrees internal temperature. So last but not least, it's time to make a little bit of garlic butter. We're gonna brush that right on top of the crab stuffed shrimp about 5 to 7 minutes before it's done. Can't have shrimp without butter. Here we have a half a stick of melted butter. To that, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of garlic paste, and then just a little hit of Old Bay. This is gonna do a number of things. One, it's gonna help brown the shrimp, give that beautiful color that you would expect. Two, it's gonna add tons of flavor because it's garlic butter, right? So that's where we're gonna go ahead and brush that right on top of the shrimp. Real simple, real easy, and you can't go wrong with garlic butter on shrimp, or crab for that matter. All right, guys, presentation is important because we eat with our eyes first. Here we have our platter. We're gonna go ahead and spread out that aioli. You can use a brush if you want, or just a spoon. We'll use our charred lemon, plate up the shrimp, hit it with a little parsley, a little Old Bay to finish, and then we're gonna get our taste test. And this is the part where I say, brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys, looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test, but before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, time for the moment of truth. This is a recipe that you have to try, whether it's a special occasion or you're just hungry and you want something good for dinner. Now I can go ahead and get rid of that shell.